We have huge real life challenges in Africa. And even pre-COVID, the levels of poverty, inequalities we've been dealing with, I think, have simply been unsustainable. And that's compounded, obviously, with the challenges then of climate change, biodiversity issues, now health pandemics. We have to use all of the resources we've got to address these issues.
So in terms of challenges, I would say one, limited access to data for planning purposes. Two, limited human resource capacity at the municipal level to implement some of the plans. Three will be limited funding for infrastructure projects. And then four is the top-down nature of government sometimes.
The challenges that can hamper the achievement of sustainable development in Africa, it's related to economic, social, and natural, which may be non-sustainable or whose consumption might be irreversible.
So there's lots of challenges that African cities and South African cities face generally, and those challenges are very unique to them. So I think the starting point for me around innovation is understanding the uniqueness of the challenges that those cities have. Alternatively, we're facing huge unemployment. I think it's now standing at 42%. That's huge, right? And most people that are unemployed are young people, as well as women. In fact, women in the latest statistics. So there's two big challenges.
Sithole already mentioned having a very good understanding of the challenges, what the problem is, and not focusing on the solution before we have identified the right problem. This is, of course, a key element.
Recently at the Cities Network, we've had a number of different initiatives that try to leverage small-scale innovation that's happening predominantly in civil society. When you start to investigate and look closely on the ground, there is so much happening, and there are so many champions of innovation, both in civil society and in government. And we found that, you know, especially where officials are passionate about a project or about a particular issue, there is so much opportunity for innovation.
I feel like calling it a hunger for innovation that I see in the eyes of so many people, and it's so beautiful to connect to that. Personally, I see constraints as opportunities, and I see what amazing things that can create, and that kind of mindset I find it a lot among the cities I work with, and I see that as an amazing opportunity.
In terms of opportunities, I would say the biggest is Africa's young entrepreneurial population, and then the growing access to broadband that can that can enable access to digital services.
Africa abounds with creativity. There's so much innovation here that I don't even think the challenge here is to look for whether we can innovate. We are constantly innovating. The question is, how can we leverage it to address the challenges that we really have? And African cities have many challenges. My primary interest is this ecosystem role of government, because government can't do it alone. Government can't do it alone. We do not have the resources, the capabilities, the systems across our cities to do everything that needs to be done. I think good governance in an age of changing technology and of ballooning needs is about being that platform. It is about partnering. So if I had one big idea for how to use innovation in Africa to address sustainability and development challenges, it would be partner, partner, partner. Partner with the non-state actors, figure out how to make that work. There are a lot of amazing capabilities in the tech space, but also other non-tech innovations in civil society?
For me, another key element is it is a bit linked with leadership, but it's not. It's more a question of position and mentality, which is for the city administration, the city leaders to accept the fact that they should be brokers and facilitators for the environment, the ecosystem that is on their territory. Linked with that, more like thirdly, on a very basic level, for me, it's also about basic language and skills. In most of the cities I work with, especially those who are non-metropolitan or capital cities, there is a basic issue linked with digital skills inside the city administration. Speaking the same language with developers, startuppers is not obvious. So starting from there and building onwards, that's something that I've learned in these past years, and basically being humble in that process.
You need a gutsy leader. You need someone that has guts to take tough decisions and fight for those tough decisions, because then their ability to have guts and fight also means that they really are sincerely caring about society, particularly the downtrodden type of people. So I think the biggest institutional ingredient, it's not whether or not you have managed to have a plan or a business plan or a budget and the council meetings are taking place, right? I think you need a bunch of gutsy leaders. They must be working together. They must be in the public sector. They must be in the private sector.
I think the one idea, it really comes from another research project called The Rules of the Game that looks at performance management. And the idea there is to embrace failure, because failure is absolutely necessary if we're going to innovate. And it's counterintuitive because, you know, our performance management systems don't want us to fail. But I really believe it's the only way to create an innovative culture.
So what I'm particularly keen on is a conversation between these various ecosystem actors that, in a way, in not a promotional or a marketing way, really has the tough conversation about what have we been trying to do, why hasn't it worked, and who could do what to improve that. Because I think if we don't have those tough conversations, we continue being a marketplace for empty ideas about technology and smartness and whatever, and we fail to deal with the real constraints in our environment to making those things work for us. So I'm really hoping that this becomes a space where ecosystem actors see themselves, but also maybe hear from other people talking about how you're making my life easier or more difficult in trying to essentially do the same thing. We have the same objective here. I think we want to see better African cities.